Top of the afternoon, straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Please hit the like button, sub to the channel. If you're not a member, also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content, all of my videos. I want to thank all of my subs for rocking with me. Thank you for the support throughout both my day ones and my new subs, and I thank you for being patient with me in terms of the construction of this channel. We still rocking and rolling. Nothing is going to stop. We're still going to keep on moving. Uh, but just for right now, uh, we just, we're weathering any storm that comes to us. Uh, Now, just after the Nuggets have pretty much closed the series out on LA, okay? What's up with it, Alex? Um, Everybody pretty much had their speculation on what was going to take place. I wasn't surprised by this. What's up, beautiful brown sugar in the building? I see you in here, baby. 10 toes down. Um, Everybody was speculating, several things. One is, what's going to happen with LeBron? Is he gonna stay in LA? Which the reporters asked him, and of course he declined to answer. Then, of course, is speculation that KD is gonna come to LA, and they're gonna form a team and put a band together, not back together, but put a band together. But then, of course, not surprising to many is the situation that's going on with Darvin Ham, as it did earlier in the season. Now, this isn't anything new. Okay, we know, just like the situation that's going on in Phoenix. Okay, just like the situation that's going on in Phoenix, they want to do finger pointing, to the coach. Well, it's the same thing that's going on, like it has been the whole entire year here with Darvin Ham. His job is once again on the line again, and now the writing is on the wall. There's been reports that they're set to fire Darvin Ham. Listen, man. To me, man, I think this is a really sad disgrace. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about a guy that has a 54% win percentage. Okay, which is decent considering the fact that he went to the Western Conference Finals last season. Okay, and on top of that, what he's had to deal with, he had to deal with it with a lot of the circus and the nonsense last year. Okay, and then on top of that, you were dealing with a guy in AD, and I'm talking about the previous season, that really couldn't stay healthy, as well as the other nonsense that was going on. Then you got D'Lo late in the season, and he really didn't play all that good in the Western Conference Finals. Then it was kind of the same this year, with the exception of AD, who pretty much for the majority of the season had a phenomenal season up until the last, the last game, in which he messed up his shoulder, and then they just ran into a better Nuggets team. The game was kept close, man. Okay, that's what we have to understand. This game was kept close. On top of that, you also have to understand that the Lakers led 165 minutes in comparison to the Nuggets, who led, I think, only like 59 minutes. They led like 59 minutes or something like that. Y'all had a chance to win the game, and what does that tell you? That tells you that falls a lot on the players. When you're up by 20, when you're up by 15 or more, and you let a team claw, fight, scratch, and they come back and then they end up beating you and they end up beating you in the last seconds, that doesn't fall on the coach. That's not that has nothing to do with the coaching. Now I know some people gonna come up in here, man. They gonna be like, "Oh yeah, well his rotations and you know he's not an X's and O's coach, all this other stuff." But did y'all forget how difficult it is to play with a guy like LeBron? Do y'all forget how difficult it is to play in LA? Period. What's up with it, Cypress? I see you in the building, bro. Um, yeah, exactly. It's the players' fault. The players have to take accountability. And then on top of that, it's everybody. Listen, everybody has a fault in this, man. You can't sit there and blame one person. You can't sit there and blame Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham is not the fall guy. If Darvin Ham is the fall guy, then you got to give D'Lo to be the fall guy. You got to give LeBron to be the fall guy. You got to give Austin Reeves to be the fall guy. You got to have Rui Hachimura be the fall guy. You got to have AD. He got to take the fault in a lot of this too. Because as good as AD played, there was some time when AD actually could have done a better job in some instances. You know what I'm saying? Not too much, but like for instance with the whole shoulder thing, and we don't know how hurt he truly was. We don't know how hurt he truly was. But the thing about it is Darvin Ham is always being the scapegoat. It's the same thing. And that's why people are tired of this nonsense. You don't hear any of this happening. Did you hear any of this happening when Anthony Edwards and them lost 2 years straight? You didn't hear Anthony Edwards sitting up in there crying or anything like that. They lost because of their defense. You know, the thing about it is for one, they need a big man. They need an extra big man. You know what I'm saying? They had Jackson Hayes and everything, but if you look at their roster, they really don't have a ton of bigs. They don't have the size. If they were to compete with a Minnesota too, I believe that Minnesota would have beat them too just on size alone. But they didn't have the size to compete, and on top of that, you have guys that are 20-point scorers and could get you 20 on any given night. Your third option in Michael Porter Jr. is averaging 22 points a game. Salute to you, Enlightened man. So it was a totality of many different things. But if we really want to be honest, the Lakers actually really played as best as they could, and if you look at it on paper, they really didn't have as bad a defense. Because especially in the first half, when you're leading 165 minutes, that tells you something. That tells you you're on it on defense. It's just a collapse in the fourth quarter or in the second half. The thing about it is the game slows down. Guys know your tendencies. Let me drop some facts on you real quick, right? Okay. Let me key in. When you play playoff basketball, when you're playing in the finals, okay? Let's say I gotta study my opponent. You know what I'm saying? Let's say like me and Cypress, I gotta study him on his tendencies and stuff like that. These guys are watching film on you all the time. They're gonna figure out something and they're gonna know your tendency, they're gonna know your habits and everything like that. So if I'm studying Cypress or Cypress is studying me, he's gonna be like, oh, you know what? I found a weakness in him. And he's not gonna tell you what it is. What he's gonna do, he's gonna go out there and they're gonna expose it. That's what Denver does. And on top of that, they're a well-oiled machine. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like what the San Antonio Spurs did, or even with the Golden State Warriors. You had to look at the Warriors too. Warriors had 4 or 5 guys on there that could get you 22 as well. Back in the days, back in when they was winning. But to get, I know I'm getting off the topic, but the thing about it is I had to talk to Enlighten Josh to let him know. Yeah, it was a totality of several different things. But if we're looking at it from a standpoint of the Lakers being able to win, shoot, man, the Lakers could have won that game. It didn't fall on coaches, and like I said, I'll keep saying it over and over again. It falls on execution. You have to execute, but I just think it's wrong what they doing to Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham got to an Western Conference final. He got to a Western Conference final. Yeah, and look, if you're a Lakers fan, I've heard a lot of Lakers fans say that. Now, if you said that like in a regular season, yeah, their defense was horrible at times. They were ranked in, I think, like 20. They were like 22nd or something like that in their defense, and on top of that, in opponent field goals made or something like that, they were the amount of points that they were allowing opponents to make. And this was in during the season, so we got to look at it from that standpoint. But this is another thing that we got to talk about too. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, well they shouldn't have matched up with Denver. Why would they? Why this was a bad matchup? Going against Denver. No, it wasn't. It wasn't no bad matchup. It wasn't a bad matchup at all. Because one, it points to what I said earlier in terms of them leading the majority of the time, and then two, also y'all wanted to smoke. Y'all asked for the smoke. I keep telling y'all over and over again. Y'all asked for the smoke. Who you think else wanted? Who you think wanted to smoke too? Darvin Ham wanted to smoke, and he didn't duck no smoke. And even Mike Malone had even said that it wasn't Darvin Ham's fault. You go ask any coach, majority of the coaches in the league, they're gonna tell you that it wasn't Darvin Ham's fault. You know what I'm saying? We're down 4-1. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry about that. We're down 3-1 to the Knicks, right? You think we're gonna sit up here and blame Nick Nurse? No, it falls on the coaches. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it falls on the players. The thing about it is everybody wants to sit here and blame the coaches and stuff. We understand that these players are getting paid to do what is necessary to carry your team and everything. But at the same time, you got to take the fault about a lot of this stuff too. And they don't never want to give LeBron any of this of the smoke. All they want to sit up here and do is they want to blame Darvin Ham just like they did earlier in the season, which makes absolutely no sense. Man, you had Darvin Ham's job on the line, and he proved to you that he really didn't need to have AD or LeBron. He was able to win. He won on the East Coast swing. So all these reports, I knew that it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. And then on top of that, they're pushing the narrative. It's on TV now. They're saying, "Oh yeah, they expect Darvin Ham to be relieved of his duties and stuff like that." Man, that's a slap in the face, man. That's cold hearted or whatever. If anything, I know these guys got to do a job on TV and stuff, and a lot of them be cooning and buffooning and stuff like that. But if anything, like Paul Pierce was saying, he doesn't think that Darvin Ham should get fired. Now, if you're like, let me ask y'all something, man. Let me just be real with you. Do y'all think that Darvin Ham should be fired? I'm just being real with you. Just based on the way that he coaches. Put one in there if you think so, yes, and two if no. Or just say yes or no. What's up with it, Kevin Cook? I see you in the building, man. Haven't seen you in a minute, bro. What's up with it? You said nah. So I got one. I got one nah. So far. So listen, man. The fact remains that Darvin Ham should not be fired. Okay, and if I guarantee you, if he goes somewhere else and he starts winning, that's gonna say more about it. It's sort of like when the role players, when all of the role players they leave. You said he worked with what he had. Yeah, exactly. It's like when the role players when they leave LeBron. Well, guess what? These guys end up being successful. Sort of like KCP. I hope he gets better too, even though he got injured. But KCP, he went on to the Nuggets, ended up winning the chip. You know, other guys, they went other places and they were able to hold up without LeBron. You got the Pelicans, you know what I'm saying? Even though they got swept or whatever, Larry Nance and Brandon Ingram and stuff, they didn't need LeBron in order to be successful or to make the playoffs or any of that other stuff. So it's the same thing with the coaches too. It's the same thing with the coaches too. He's done this countless of times. He's done this since the beginning. He done this since the beginning, since he's been in the league. Okay, um, what you call Paul Silas, God rest his soul. Paul Silas, he had problems with Paul Silas. Okay, he had he had problem with David Blash. Okay, and the thing about it is that David Blash was actually doing pretty good. They had made it to a finals and were actually doing pretty decent before they fired him in the middle of the season. Then you had problems with Mike Brown, in which you had some success with Mike Brown. Then you had problems with Eric Spoelstra, and you knew that you weren't going to run anything in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Then, of course, you had problems with Frank Vogel. You know what I'm saying? You were talking about Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel ended up leaving. You know what I'm saying? And I'm probably missed a couple or whatever. But people are getting tired of that. It's like 8 coaches in 21 seasons. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. People are tired of this. This is what people are tired of. And people like some people ask, okay, well, why the hate on LeBron, or why do they don't like LeBron, stuff like that. I've had people ask me that before and stuff like that. It's because of stuff like this, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about from my end, but there's a lot of people that absolutely can't stand him. They don't like him so much that they don't even like to watch him play basketball anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they don't want to cheer for him or do any of that other stuff, and they're tired of they're tired of the BS. Why can't you lose, accept your L, and come back the very next season? Those guys back in the days, probably in the 80s and 90s, they probably all had problems with their coaches and stuff like that. But the thing about it is they weren't constantly like doing their best to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no reports of the guy getting fired and all this other stuff. They actually tried to, work it out. In the beginning, you got to think about it. Phil Jackson, and Shaquille O'Neal didn't get along, and this was a couple years before they started winning championship. Kobe Bryant and Phil Jackson, they didn't get along. MJ and Phil Jackson, it took him a while to get, because he was more into Doug Collins, because Doug Collins let him do what he wanted to do in terms of the offense and stuff like that. But he was like, look, do you want to win scoring titles or do you want to win actual titles? And it took him a little bit or whatever. And then, it took MJ and Phil Jackson a couple years before they actually won a championship. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't an overnight thing. And that's what the whole goal is to win a championship. I think that's what the goal that gets forgotten. Hold on one second, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. But it's not. That's what people have to understand, man. Is it's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, man. Everybody wants microwave success and all this other stuff. It don't work like that. And plus, you already got a championship there. You got a championship with Frank Vogel. Why not run it back with the coach that you had? Nah, you're not getting your way, Frank Vogel. Nah, you should have came. I've never seen LeBron come to the defense of his coach. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. The only one I seen him come close, to the defense to was Ty Lue, and that's because Ty Lue wasn't having that. I forgot about Ty. I forgot to mention Ty Lue too. I mean, he came to the defense of. Of course, he came to the defense of Juwan Howard when he was an assistant there. He wasn't listening to Eric Spoelstra. He was listening to Juwan Howard mostly. This is disgusting, man. And I don't like stuff like this, man. Because Darvin Ham is a championship pedigree coach. They want to sit there. They want to run all these narratives about uh, Darvin Ham, knowing that it's not true. X's and O's. At the end of the day, man, X's and O's, and I'm gonna tell you something about X's and O's. X's and O's is fine, but X's and O's is not gonna prevent a Jamal Murray from hitting a clutch shot, or X's and O's is not gonna automatically make LeBron hit a clutch shot. X's and O's is not gonna make you dive on the floor to make sure you get possession of the ball so that you can have an extra possession and possibly turn that into another play. X's and O's ain't gonna make you make a key defensive block in the last few minutes or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So when everybody always talking about this X's and O's and all this other stuff or whatever, there were a lot of coaches that weren't the greatest of X's and O's. Doc Rivers, he wasn't. He's not a great X's and O's coach, but he was successful with the 2008 Celtics team. That's just like Paul Westhead, with the Lakers back in the days. He wasn't a great X's and O's coach. Shit. Hey, if we really want to be honest, as much as I like Pat Riley and stuff like that. His thing was running, doing his thing or whatever. I know in the half court, he was somewhat good, but he wasn't the greatest X's and O's coach. But he was a great motivator, and he was psychological. Um, what's it called? The Zen Master. When we talk about Phil Jackson, yeah, he had the triangle, but that wasn't his. That was Tex Winter's. But he was able to implement that triangle and stuff. But let's be honest. Other than that, Phil Jackson wasn't the greatest X's and O's coach. He was good at managing personalities. You know what I'm saying? And with Darvin Ham, he's a great motivator, man. He stands by his guy. He came to the defense of D'Lo when everybody was trying to come at D'Lo and stuff like that. He was like, "Nah, I'm riding with my guys," and that's what you want. You want a player's coach. These guys. You want somebody that you can relate to. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with Jason Kidd. He's not the greatest X's and O's coach. He's more defensive minded. So if we want to keep, we could keep on going, but that doesn't take away from you being a good coach. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of if your guys are gonna buy in, and really, honestly, if we really want to look at everything, man, it seemed like Darvin Ham had kind of somewhat lost the locker room. When I saw D'Lo sitting off to a side on the cell phone and stuff like that, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I lost a lot of respect for D'Lo and the fact that Darvin Ham was going to bat for him. But that's the way people do you, man. That's the way people do you. 1 minute you up and people are, they there to console you and stuff like that, and then the next minute they ready they ready to stab you in your back, and that's what LeBron is doing right now because he didn't get his way. You know, then I'm hearing, Brown Sugar, look. Then I'm hearing this too. I'm hearing reports about them having the referees investigated for the game and stuff like that. Man, like, come on, man. If anything, the referees need to be investigated on your end because the thing about it is, y'all shot 30 free throws. The Nuggets only shot 9. And then on top of that, there were a couple of calls that didn't go in the Nuggets' favor. You said never bite the hand that feeds you, even when the going gets tough. Yeah, exactly. But he don't understand that. You can't say that to no billionaire. Unfortunately, Sugar. Like me, you, everybody else on this channel really understand. You said referees been crooked since the '80s. Ain't nothing changed. Yeah, and you got to play through that. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't the refs, you know what I'm saying? Look, Sugar, if it's not the refs, it's the coach. If it ain't the coach, it's D'Lo. If it ain't D'Lo, it's AD. If it ain't AD, it's Austin Reeves. If it ain't Austin Reeves, and so on and so forth. It'd be another fall guy. And then on top of that, he was trying to trade everybody in the middle of the season anyways. Yeah, yeah. Hey, look it up, Enlightened. Enlightened, let me give you a wrench, bro. My bad, bro. There you go, man. I got you a wrench, Josh. There have been reports that they want to investigate, uh, the officiating. I'm like, dude, you lost. You lost. You can't accept losing. All this investigating and stuff like that. No, you talking about investigating? Like you said, Josh, investigate for what? Investigate Murray dunking on your ass, and he dunked on your ass left-handed. You know what I'm saying? What, investigating the fact that, you know what I'm saying? Did you see Jamal Murray crying when he got blocked? Did you see Jamal Murray, crying when he missed several shots and stuff like that? There was times when Murray wasn't playing that good, but guess what? He made up for it in the end. He ain't making no excuses. He ain't sitting there crying about calls and stuff like that. And look, now there's a report talking about the Lakers players were frustrated after Darvin Ham benched D'Lo and Austin Reeves. Now it's starting to happen, Sugar. Now listen, now it's happening. You might as well see now. All this stuff is starting to happen. They're starting to spin this narrative. Oh yeah, it's like he pushes a button, and then guess what? Oh, Darvin Ham did this. The players were mad because of that. All this other stuff. What's up with it, Think Tank? I see you in the building. Because now they want to spin this narrative. Now they're talking about, oh yeah, well the Lakers players were frustrated that Darvin Ham, he benched D'Lo and Austin Reeves and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all weren't frustrated. Y'all weren't frustrated when y'all was winning. That goes back to the whole KD argument. That goes back to the whole KD argument, right? Y'all weren't frustrated when y'all were whooping the Minnesota Timberwolves ass earlier in the season. But then because you don't get what you want, because you ain't got control over the offense and all this other stuff. What you talking about? You ain't got control over the offense, KD. You scored 33 points. It's just that it won't impactful. It's just that Anthony Edwards is that guy right now. Just flat out lost. Ham made the right adjustment toward the end of the game. Exactly. Exactly. This game was kept close. Now, if the game would have got out of hand, sort of like Boston and Miami yesterday, and look, they could have made an excuse. Guess what? Guess what else happened? Poor Jenkins was hurt, and as much as I get on Joe Mazzulla, I could have been like, "Oh man, Joe Mazzulla." This nah. I actually got to give props to Joe Mazzulla. He coached the shit out of that game. And I've been real critical of Joe Mazzulla, but Joe Mazzulla, guess what? They actually been playing some decent defense. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta, at the end of the day, man, you gotta be able to execute. This is why I respect the Heat organization. They don't let players or media run the team. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Facts, think tank. You know what I'm saying? He thought he was gonna come in there to Miami. What it was is he thought he was gonna come in there to Miami and he was going to take control over everything, and he was going to tell um, Eric Spoelstra what to do. Um, Miami has a protocol, and everybody talk about, oh yeah, well KD he might go to Miami and all this other stuff. You think KD is just gonna get what he wants in Miami? And you got to follow a condition protocol. You know what I'm saying? You have to stay in shape, and you have to do it the Miami way. Everybody thinking, oh yeah, I'm safe over here in Miami. Pat Riley, he might be good. Might bring you to the house for steak dinners and everything like that. But you still got to do your damn job. Sure, we'll have steak dinners and wine all day. You know what I'm saying? But he want to see your ass on the court. You might go to the cigar lounge with Pat Riley all day. You know what I'm saying? Having some yak and all that other stuff. But as soon as you sign that paper, as soon as you sign that ink, you know what I'm saying? Look, that means it's time to get to work in Miami. You ain't getting no free meal here just because you. Sorry about that, y'all. You said Pat Riley chose Spo over Bron and got back to the finals. Didn't win, but the league of coaches and owners respect it behind the scenes. Yeah, that's facts, man. That's facts. And see what he tried to do is he wanted to go over there with the intent of trying to run the organization, sort of like what he did, because he got what he wanted in Cleveland. But what he had to realize is that they won championship before you had got there. Eric Spoelstra is a good coach. You know what I'm saying? Did he win after LeBron and all that other stuff? Nah, he didn't. But he was able to get to a finals. He proved that he could get to a finals without LeBron and stuff like that, which is really good in itself. A lot of people was just thinking, okay, well, yeah, you're not gonna win anything and stuff like that. Miami was, let's just call it what it is. People stopped looking at Miami. You know what I'm saying? Once LeBron had left and stuff, which I felt like was unfair. You know what I'm saying? But this is, I don't like this stuff, man. Darvin Ham, I've been saying it the whole entire season. There's been Lakers fans that have been sitting up here talking about, oh yeah, Darvin Ham, he can't coach and all this other stuff. That's not true. That's not true at all. If he couldn't coach, why did he get to the Western Conference Finals? Okay, why did he get to the Western Conference Finals? If he couldn't coach, then how come they was able to, towards the end of the season, be able to get into the first round against a championship team? You say it's embarrassing how Jeannie Buss has ran the Lakers. Honestly, she pimped out the purple and gold, appeasing Bryant era. Vogel soon him taking the heat. Yeah, exactly. She don't know what she doing, man. And it's been going on ever since Magic Johnson was there. Magic Johnson leaving the Lakers, I think, was a truly big mistake, man. Because Magic Johnson he's not only a business mogul, he's extremely intelligent. You're talking about one of the greatest some people have him as the greatest point guard to ever do it. He's a cerebral type of guy, man. He's cerebral and psychological. So he knows how to strategize. He knows how to be tactical in situations. He's won with that Lakers organization. He knows what the fans want. You know what I'm saying? He's been through the ups and downs through almost every single Lakers championship that there was. He's been through. Listen, of course he came from the Showtime era. He's been through, the Kobe and Shaq era. You know what I'm saying? He's been through, the era in which, they were down for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The post Kobe era. You know what I'm saying? Then going through the LeBron era. Yeah, and then on top of that, listen, I know some people don't want to hear this, but Lonzo Ball, man, I felt like, man, Lonzo Ball was done wrong, man. That's just my personal opinion. Lonzo Ball was really starting to, really develop and get a little better and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Especially when he got to New Orleans. There was just some things that he needed to work on. He needed to work on finishing at the rim, and he needed to work on, his shot and everything. Which, I mean, his shot was just his shot. That's just the way you shoot. You know what I'm saying? And if you've been successful at it, your whole entire career, why are you trying to change up now? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What's up with it, JMJ 21? I see you in the building, bro. Shout out to North Carolina. Yeah, Palinka and Rambis. So, I mean, these people up in here, man, they trying to push this narrative. They're trying to, oh yeah, Darvin Ham, he's gone and stuff like that. The writing's on the wall, man. Man, once Darvin Ham get fired, man, that's gonna tell you everything. That's why this is the exact reason why everybody ready for him to go. That's why everybody ready for him to go. You know what I'm saying? You don't see Joker crying. Joker just got better. Y'all got to remember, Joker was constantly. I think Joker missed the playoffs a couple times. Once or twice or whatever. Joker was constantly being put out in the first round. Joker was getting exposed. You know. Hold on one sec. You said where do the Lakers go from here? Where they need to go is they don't need to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Just run it back, man. Like why everybody don't got that mentality? Like I know LeBron don't have that much time or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't about you. You got these other guys that you're stunting the growth of a lot of these young players.